swagger. Under me, CMFLA, hard to see it. HBCU is where to be. We compete, but we're still family. My HBCU better go.
Hey everybody, what is really happening? Welcome back to another edition of the HBCU Man Cave. It's your boy, it's your uncle, it's your cousin, and your best friend. You are tuned to a space and a place where men can relate, relax, and release. I'm your host, A. Harris Brown. Listen, holding down the Man Cave. It's my usual cast of suspects. Well, one of them anyway, because I got Kevin here, because Shane, he's somewhere again. Like last week, he said he back down there in Jamaica playing with the Hurricanes.
As always.
See, I don't even know. He getting caught up. Now he gonna claim it's his internet this week, but we don't know. But we're glad we got Kevin here. And listen to this week's topic. This week we are talking about growing from mistakes. Now listen, embracing accountability. Now accountability isn't just a buzzword. It's a major pillar of growth, maturity, and leadership. Now, we all make mistakes. Yes, we all make mistakes. Even for those in the back of the room, we all make mistakes, right? But what sets us apart is how we learn from them and take responsibility. Now, today, we'll talk about the importance of holding ourselves accountable, how that affects our relationships, and what it means to grow through our missteps. Now, today's special guest, we are honored to welcome Terrell Hires. Now, Terrell is an Albany State University alum and is a dedicated advocate for self-improvement and leadership. With a master's in business, he has a strong background in business management. Now, Terrell is committed to helping others embrace accountability and use their experience as stepping stones for success. You can connect with Terrell. You know, I'm gonna shut him out now, but he can talk about it a little bit later. But you can learn more about him and what his work does. You can go to his Instagram at Goldar, like the Goldar from Power Rangers, GOLDAR3. Or you can find this brother on LinkedIn at Terrell Hires MBA. Brother, what's going on with you, man? How you doing?
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yes. So Kevin, what's going on with you, sir?
A whole lot of just wrapped up the road to election, my HBCU votes series. It was a whole lot of traveling in a span of 2 weeks, so I'm a little exhausted, still recovering. Election is in 2 days, so I'm a little nervous.
Right, because my question is, right before we get to the topic, talk about, where have you been able to manage your own campaign while you out here doing all this educational nonpartisan work?
That's why you gotta have a team. That's why you gotta have supporters. That's why you just gotta have just a support system, because that's where all that comes in. Because it's been a lot. It's been a lot. But that's why you got to be able to send out automated messaging and being able to do phone banking and things like that when you can't really get to the knocking on doors. Plus, I live in a community. People don't like you to knock on their door. Don't knock on that can get real dangerous. So
that's everywhere, because we've had places where we, even here in Cleveland, we've been out campaigning and canvassing almost, if not almost every day, and it's just in some neighborhoods we're like, if we don't get this done before 12, we're not gonna be able to canvass this because it's gonna be a different kind of neighborhood. And I mean that's at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So listen, I only can imagine that, Kevin, throughout your journey and your process in this election season, you have made some mistakes. You've learned some things. You learn, okay, I should have went this way, should have gone that way. Or, Terrell, you may have, as you were going and you were developing your craft and how you are managing and supporting other people, you've like, how could I have done that better? Now, did you all know that a culture of accountability can increase performance by 25%? Now, according to research by a company called RDL Training, leaders who own their mistakes not only foster trust, but also create an environment where growth and continuous learning are valued. So biggest thing is if we can learn how to embrace accountability, that becomes a sign of strength and not weakness. And it's something that we all can work on. So let's bring it in, let's chop it up, and let's see where this conversation takes us. A shout out to everybody who's watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And soon, one day, we need to start going live on LinkedIn. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just going to speak it into existence.
Can you even go live on LinkedIn?
Huh?
Can you even go live on LinkedIn?
Yes, you can.
Really?
That'd be nice.
Yes, you can. Now, ha. So I'm just going to throw it out to our production team and talk about how we can go live also on LinkedIn. And then shout out to all of our replayers. Those of our man cave and all of our man cave inhabitants who come and check out the man cave. And while you're getting a bite to eat, while you catch it in the midnight hour, you catch it on the replay. Shout out to you too. Let us know in the chat where you are watching us from. Shout out your city. Again, you know, Kevin said earlier before we go on the air, he was like, whenever he hears and sees somebody talking about Detroit, he just shuts it down like, listen, Detroit is in the house. So, wherever you're watching us from, shout out your HBCU. Shout out your Greek organization. Shout out any other group that you represent. You know, even the Me Five Me's. You know, we want to hear you. We want to hear from you too. All right. And Terrell, where are you located, by the way?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, come on for the ATM, the
way
L.
Washington, D.C. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm just going to jump in here real quick. Since Kevin already kind of started with you a little bit, got a question for you. So how do you define accountability?
Accountability to me is more so of a self-assessment. Just knowing the things you signed up for, and also taking the opportunity and pretty much the experience to make sure that you fulfill the things that you know you signed up for, but also make sure it's done in a way that's, you know, fair, thoughtful. You're not eliminating people and pushing people out of the way, and you're doing things the right way. And I think accountability is just something that's pretty much, I say for me, it comes from grandma. I think a lot of that is missing in our community these days. And just that positive reinforcement of just making sure you're doing the right things.
I love that. I like the fact when you said thoughtful.
Yes.
That made me take a second look like, I like that. Thoughtful. Kevin, what about you? Define accountability.
Accountability to me is really just one, accepting that you're not perfect, accepting that there are going to be times where you are wrong. There are going to be times where you got to say, it might have just been my fault. Taking accountability and what accountability means to me is just genuinely just understanding your flaws, really. That's all I can really just say is really accountability is just understanding that you're not perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah,
and understanding, and I think also if we could just add embracing it.
Yeah.
You know, and just accept it, you know, okay. And you know that from the acceptance, then there's another step to that process. So support, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, accountability is often defined as taking ownership of one's actions and the consequences. Okay. But it's not just about the actions and consequences. It's really about how we view it personally and how we can use it to shape our own growth.
Absolutely.
Don't just sit in it. But then how do we move from that? So Terrell, here's a question for you. I got the next one. So can you share with us an example? And shout out real quick to our people here. Hey, Vernon, what's going on with you? Hey, Monique from, she originally from the 313, all the way from Dayton originally, now a Wilberforce alum. And who is this? On My Square. Shout out from Virginia Beach, repping Tidewater 106. Prince Hall, come on, okay. On the square. I got it. I'm a little something. I'm a little
we got the mayor of Charlotte. She's repping Howard University, and he's repping Howard University and Johnson C. Smith University. New 7414 is from Toledo, Ohio, and Greg Watkins Music is from Howard University.
Awesome.
So they're checking in from the Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So now, Terrell, can you share with us an example of a time when you had to hold yourself accountable for a mistake you made?
Ooh.
I went there, didn't I? I went there. I'm going straight.
Let's say
I'm living in full transparency moment right now.
Full transparency. Maybe I would say a couple of months ago. It was a couple of projects that and I'm in banking and finance, so a lot of the things I do is very important and time sensitive. And sometimes you can get overwhelmed with so much going on your table and so much outside noise that you kind of put stuff to the back burner that should have been brought forth. So this particular project, I was kind of, busy. I always have things going on, but that should have been prioritized higher than I did. And it caused some issues when I was trying to get the information turned into the right people, but it caused a delay in how our workflow systems are processed. And I kind of like messed a lot of things up, and I had to take accountability for that. Although with me, I made sure I don't turn in mediocre work. So I wanted to make sure it was right. So I kind of used that as a mental tool to kind of ease myself for that excuse. But ultimately, the accountability was on me. I should have done it. I should have done it on time. And I should not have procrastinated where it wouldn't bite my team in the rear end. So, but yeah, that is definitely one of my pet peeves. So I try to do my best to stay away from it.
And can we go there, Kevin, and talk about that whole just not procrastinating? I don't know if you have. I'm not saying you personally, Kevin, but you might have to.
I'm gonna tell you, I am the king of procrastinating.
Oh, okay.
I am the king of procrastinating. It's so crazy because it's stuff that I know that I can get done like this, but I just keep pushing it back. All right, I'll do that tomorrow. All right, I'll do it tomorrow. And then the day before, it's due. Now I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now I'm overly stressing myself. And the first thing I got to say to myself is, Kevin, if you would have just took the time to do it a while ago, you would have never been this stressed out. So it's like sometimes accountability, I guess, is realizing you your own enemy. You the reason for a lot of your stress.
Not you the reason for your stress.
Yeah. Sometimes that stress is self-made.
Wow. So we can't keep pointing the fingers at everything or everyone else when we got them other three pointing right back at us. Some of that stress is self-induced.
Absolutely.
As you just not saying, I'm preaching to the choir. Had we just taken the time and prioritized, just put some things like, okay, I understand, don't get me wrong, because I'm here for a good Sunday afternoon nap. I love them.
Right.
But or something else, a good time to go out with your friends. But have you taken care of everything you take care of before you go and do the other thing?
Absolutely.
That part. So, anybody want to share, how has this understanding of being accountable or accountability has changed over the years? Has this something that has evolved since maybe undergrad till now?
Absolutely. Most definitely. And I could say for me, it's getting the emotions out of it.
Ooh, come on, emotions.
Accountable. You know how we are.
Second that emotion.
You know how we are. We take things personal when people call us out, not realizing some of those call outs are from a professional standpoint and they just want you to do better. And sometimes we just got to get out of our way and understand that, you know, when you do stuff that other people see and it's a team thing, hey, you're just as, you know, important to this team and getting this process done to anybody. So when you kind of think it's on your time and doing it your way, you're hurting really the whole team and possibly your company. So just learning to get out your way, getting out your feelings and taking that feedback in and just taking it and getting better. I think that's the main thing for me, from I can tell from my collegiate days to now, where I just like, yeah, you're right. Like,
and Karen, what about when you was at Miles College?
I mean, I will say, my perspective on accountability has changed. When I was younger, I could say, I'm gonna be real. I thought that the life revolved around me. I thought that time was gonna wait on me. I thought that life was just gonna be peaches and cream. And then I started realizing that if I didn't take accountability for myself and for my actions, I wasn't gonna get far very quickly.
Okay.
And that's when I decided to say, it's sometimes I got to sit there and start applying myself more, especially when I started missing opportunities. When I started missing opportunities and I started seeing things like pass me by that I know I should have had, but instead, like especially scholarships I know that I had in the bag that I knew was mine. I had every like criteria, like I met every bit of the criteria, but yet I didn't press send on the application because I kept pushing it back. Then boom, the time flew past me because something else kept happening.
So we can't sit here and say, I need a blessing, Lord, don't pass me by. And he made a way for you to get the blessing.
See, I was trying not to go to the preaching, but seeing that you did tag me in. See, the thing about it is when God, he gives you the blessing and then you mishandle the blessing. You fumble the bag.
Not fumble.
You didn't take accountability of your actions.
Come on.
And I seen that happening a lot in my younger years because I always kept saying tomorrow, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Yep. And if I would have just done the thoughts and the things that I wanted to do right then, I probably would be even further than where I'm at.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like you want to say something with that. It's like you want to say something.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Come on.
I think that's probably the viewpoint for all of us. Just doing things like you know you can take care of just at that moment, and sometimes it comes from repetitions because you do it so often and you're good at it. You just feel like it's a minuscule deal or a point, but if you can take care of it today, don't put off for it tomorrow.
Listen, you gotta say it. Hey, come on, somebody. The songwriter said, who said that tomorrow would never come for you? Still you laugh and you play and you continue on to say tomorrow. Forget about tomorrow. I need you to go and take care of your life right now, today. Please.
Hey, absolutely.
Don't let it just slip and pass away and walk away. Come on, tomorrow is not promised. Girl, you better get right or get left. I'm trying to tell you.
You better get right or get left. That's real.
That's it. That's it.
So that holding each other, so then my other question, I'm gonna just because this is off my script. How do you find, or do you all have any accountability partners to make sure that you are staying on task? Or do you think is there value in having an accountability partner? That's even better question.
Absolutely. And I think in finding that partner, I think you got to understand and have those respect levels and boundaries. You got to have somebody that you trust, have your best interest, and when they speak, you listen. And I think that's a very important part of finding a person that you can, bounce out ideas off and share accountability. Like I have several. I have some mentors, and then I have some friends, and I have some peers, and we all hold each other accountable, because we feel like if you're in our circle, you're destined to go somewhere. So I can't have you slipping and end up slipping and have everybody else kind of falling off because you're falling off. No, everybody is going to rise, and we're going to do what we need to do. So that's the most important thing I see.
Kevin, shout out to accountable. And you talked about earlier about having a team. We're talking about the whole election and how you have this team of people. Shout out some of your accountability partners. Who do you go to? Who are your go-tos?
So I will say, I have accountability partners for a lot of different things.
Ooh, okay.
You know, when it comes to my education and me furthering my education, because I'm still trying to get degrees. Although I'm teaching and doing all that, and I got my career, I'm still trying to get my degrees. I want to be Dr. Keys, and I still got to go to law school. I still got a lot of stuff. So I got people, you know, who are my academic friends, who's gonna hold me accountable, who gonna make sure that I'm meeting the deadlines to getting the application done for my PhD program and things of that nature. I got those. Then I got my school accountability partners, like for my job, where they're actually helping me and making sure I got my lesson plans in, got my newsletter sent out, making sure that I communicate with my parents, making sure that I got everything prepared for the week. If I'm out this week, make sure I got sub plans, all that's situated. So I got that's my mentor, who was my first and sixth grade teacher. She's academic specialist at the school now, and that's I work with her. She's definitely a huge accountability partner for that. Then I got an accountability partner for my nonprofits and my foundation. That's actually my road dog. Her name Trina. She's a member of SG Row. She actually makes sure it's okay, what we need to talk about this week, what we need to get done for this week, what we need to write down, what I need to make sure I remind you to do throughout the week for this. And then, she's helping me with that. So, in that aspect of, what I need to get up for the community and community engagement, that's one thing. I got partners for that. So it's a whole lot of different,
So you got them all around. So you got accountability partners in different in various sectors of your life.
Yeah. Okay. You gotta have different friends for everything, but then you also gotta have friends. You have to have emotional accountability partners too, because sometimes, especially like for me, sometimes I don't need no friend that's gonna be like, yeah, you was always right. Like if I went into a situation and I knew I probably was a little hostile, but yet you telling me, oh yeah, you did everything fine. Like, no, I don't need that. I need somebody who's gonna tell me like, yeah, Kevin, you was wrong. You was wrong. You shouldn't have went about it that way. You ain't good. Like, my friends ain't really yes men. So that's another thing that I have around me is my emotional accountability partners, to make sure that I'm doing what I need to be doing as a human being. I'm putting people first, as I should be.
Okay then. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, again, for those who are watching, what did Vernon say? Vernon, what you talking about? Vernon? Vernon says Bethune-Cookman College, originally from the 2 oh, he doesn't know where he's from. Okay, shout out. I'll look at, because he saw the other guy from Prince Hall shouting out his lies, so he wanted to shout out his. All right, okay, we ain't doing it. I'm just kidding, y'all. I did tell y'all to do that, so I'm here for it. I love it every which way. So let me go and shout out Excelsior Lodge, Prince Hall, Lodge 11. So everybody else shouting out their lodges, die, pat out. I can do it too. Anyway, all right. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, I meant to say this earlier, I forgot, but mistakes can be humbling. Okay, but the lessons we learn often become some of the most valuable assets. And when we think about this whole idea of accountability, how it's evolved and changed over the years, studies suggest that a mature understanding of accountability can lead to greater self-awareness and personal development. And I see another brother in y'all boys sound like true Israelites. See, y'all in here, y'all talking. Y'all. Side note, there's another conversation happening in the conversation.
Right.
My bad. All right, so I'm blaming Vernon for that one. No, I'm gonna blame On the Square for that one. All right, so here we go. Another question. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions in the chat, Thank you, Monique, for saying good topic, great transparency and reflection. So, and I'm wondering, where does this topic even come from? Who came up with this topic today? I wonder. It just popped out the blue. All right, so here's, gentlemen, or anyone to us watching us right now, whether you're watching again on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or you're watching us on the replay. Well, the replay you can't ask a question, but by people live, you can. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to shout you out. If you are watching us on YouTube or Facebook, we can make sure we put your comments on the screen right down here at the bottom. And if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. Now, if you're watching us on Instagram, we just have to keep turning to our phones or to our iPads off to the side and see what you're talking about. All right, so the next question. What role do you think accountability plays in personal growth and maturity? And let me qualify this.
Repeat that question. I'm sorry, I didn't follow.
The question is, what role do you think accountability plays in personal growth and maturity? And if I can qualify this, I'm gonna see if I can restate the question. Can you discuss how accountability teaches us to reflect, adapt, and make better choices moving forward?
Can I go first on that one?
Come on, Terrell, you got it. It's all you.
Okay, so this is going to be really transparent. So I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, Albany State, Chi Epsilon chapter, Spring 01.
We tried it. I ain't gonna hold you though.
So as an undergrad, I had a few female friends that just really just wasn't in the right place. What they say, you just did too much. But as time went on, and it might be some of that with karma, but when you learn accountability and learn how to really, and I'm just taking and bringing that accountability in a relationship sense, because accountability is accountability where no matter where it is, you learn the ways of what you have done to affect other people, and those thoughts, those moments that you kind of replay as a more seasoned, more thoughtful, more, because you never know, because you know, we road trip, we just, and some people might say having fun, but guess what if you broke a heart of, your college sweetheart, just being a friendly cute dog, and you come back in life and now you need that person.
Ooh,
that accountability can be, and I might say, you never know what side that person might be. You might have a traffic ticket and that person might be the judge.
That might be you crossed.
So I think about that accountability a lot. And now as a man, bringing the conversation full circle, I have 2 daughters. So now, how are you teaching them about the accountability and how they should treat a man, and what to kind of expect from, guys, because my oldest in high school now. That conversation hits a little bit different. So when I tell you accountability is a means for growth, I truly stand by that. So
wow, somebody hit different.
Yeah, totally different. Totally different.
What you got? Want me to repeat the question, Kevin?
Yeah.
All right, so the original question is, what role do you think accountability plays in personal growth and maturity? Or the alternate question, discuss how accountability teaches us to reflect, adapt, and make better choices moving forward.
I mean, I just feel as if the moment that you realize that you must be accountable for your actions, is the true moment in which you mature.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's off rip, just flat out like the answer. I mean, I think it correlates. I mean, I think once you realize, like, okay, maybe I'm like, for example, if something happens, like if you don't get a project done before the deadline, let's say you got a big project at work, you got to get it done by Friday, but you didn't, and you didn't do your part, and it hurt a lot of people. You can't go in there with anger and get mad that they disappointed in you. Then you go in there, now you sitting there making the situation worse.
Mm-hmm.
You making everything worse, and the whole time, all you need to do is just simply say, "It was my fault. I apologize because I dropped the ball on that.
Okay.
It was my fault, and I should have did better. I should have managed my time more."
Mm.
Somebody's gonna perceive you a little bit different if you didn't, instead of you going to, so y'all mad at me because I didn't do it. That ain't that ain't taking accountability, and people respect those who take accountability. And once you can take accountability and understand that how people perceive you is totally different when you take accountability. What is the number one thing? I'm not trying to go political, but what's the number one thing that we say when we look at candidates? Are they being accountable? Are they saying, "Hey, I made these mistakes"? Are they speaking about it? Are they actually talking on it? You know, and it's like now it's like looking at, we're gonna vote for the one who can be more accountable.
So then my question becomes then, Kevin, why do you think some people find it hard to accept this level of accountability?
Because people are too prideful.
Ooh,
People
okay,
are prideful.
okay,
People
okay.
believe that if you don't, people believe that if they are not seen as perfect and if they're not always right 24/7, that someone might look at them differently, or they might be perceived differently, especially those who got superiority complexes and feel as if they gotta be in control. Them narcissists, those with narcissistic behavior, they often feel like, I have to be right. I have to be right. So no matter what, it's always gonna be someone else's fault for why something didn't go right. If it didn't go right, but if it did go right, they always gotta have the credit and always have to gloat and say, yeah, this was me. This was me. Those people often tend to not be accountable, and those are the ones that we see as childish and immature and narcissistic. I mean, those are, so yeah, that's why some people can't take that level of accountability, because it's deeper issues that is tied to it, and sometimes it's a lot of childhood trauma that is tied to why they can't take accountability. The higher you want to go, the more you must be held accountable, and that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And that's why sometimes people don't like to go further in life, because they're scared to be held accountable. They're scared to have all the pressure. They say, oh, it's too much pressure. Or I'm saying, I just don't want to go that far. And it's because they're scared of the accountability that will come from a promotion or from that, that next endeavor or that next career. So, I
Ooh.
mean, it's just all about pride. Pride is the devil. Once we let go
Yep.
of our pride, we can come together, we can unite, we can hold each other accountable. But you wonder why so many people don't have. We just talked about yes man, and me telling me I don't like people being like. That's why some people have yes men in their life, because they rather have their ego stroked and their pride being secured, rather than actually hearing what they need to hear in order to succeed or to go further. They rather go and stay at a certain level just so they can stay with the same people that's still there, instead of trying to fly higher. They're trying to eat eagle food with crows. I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it's all because they won't take accountability and to fly up. But let me get out
So
that.
here's the go. So I got a question then. So Terrell, Can you then provide some again, the conversation within the conversation? I love it. Terrell, can you provide maybe some insight on how pride or fear of judgment can make it difficult for someone to take responsibility?
Absolutely. Even just as simple as what Kevin said, when you're looking at different promotions. Right now, I'm a federal government employee, so as you said, the higher you go, the more accountability you're going to be faced with. You're going to be responsible for more people. You're going to be responsible for more answers. So it's a level of scrutiny that, you know, if you want that next job, you want to be a manager, you want to be a director or a program manager, that is going to come with more accountability. And I think for us, a lot of us stop at those positions because, you know, they say, well, I don't want to manage people. Well, you go home and you do a good job managing people. It might be little people, it might be a husband, it might be a spouse, but you do a good job managing people. So I think people just kind of skew away from those things and just not accept that accountability level, and it just makes people shrink, when in actuality you just need to just be yourself, accept that accountability, and rise to the occasion.
Okay. So anyone, do you think it's harder for men to openly admit mistakes and take accountability? Why or why not? Do we struggle with that as men, and more specifically as Black men? Do
Pride.
we openly admit our mistakes, and do we take accountability? Matter of fact, Kevin or Vernon, I'm gonna figure out who else is in the chat.
That's a fully loaded question.
Jesus Christ 999. I'm going to anybody else, to all my brothers who are watching us right now. I need for you to put in the chat.
I really want to. I don't know how I want to approach this question. I'm gonna be real, honest. I mean, I can see this from two different angles.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the first angle, I can see it as. Restate that question. I want to know how I'm about to approach that one. Restate that question.
Do you think it's harder for Black men of color, with more melanin in our skin, to openly admit mistakes and take accountability?
I say yes, but on the same coin, I say no. I feel like all our lives we are told that we have to take accountability. Sometimes we have to take accountability for things that don't even have nothing to do with us. I mean, we spend our lives having to apologize and to stay small just so we don't seem too aggressive or too passionate or too focused, and we always get, pushed down or said, oh, we're not that good, because everything that had nothing to do with us, we've always been set back from the beginning. So I can't say that we have a hard time taking accountability, but then I can also say that we have a lot of men who is to the point where they have said, I'm sorry so much, or I'm not enough, to the point where they get to a point where it's like, nah, I'm not, I'm always right. I'm always false evidence appearing real. Yes. So now I'm always right. I'm always.
But did you check out the acronym? So what Kevin is saying is that it's not so much that we can't admit it, it's the fact that we have a fear.
And we operate out of fear.
It's an acronym of false evidence appearing real. Come on, Kevin!
So we create this narcissistic behavior that creates this whole, I'm always right, there is no wrong, and anybody who's in my way that believes that I'm wrong, I'm going to either put you away, or we're going to have issues, or we're going to have conflict, because I don't want to be wrong, because it brings me back to a point in my childhood where I was always wrong. I was always the person that was always not enough or not good enough or wasn't the right one. So then it creates this adult behavior. So it's just like, all this is connected. And that's why it's like, I can't say that we have a hard time taking accountability, but sometimes I say that as Black men, we take too much accountability, and we just sometimes suppress our emotions and say, yes, we're the problem, we're not good enough, and we get too hard on ourselves and we become too accountable. If that makes sense, but that too accountable kind of turns into a whole different.
No, I might have to get this brother on. I don't know if he's at work or not. We might have to get this brother on the show one day because he's been dropping some comments. Kev Allen, he's actually he attended Shaw University. He didn't finish it, but you know how we do at HBCU. As long as you've been one semester, don't claim it.
That's it.
He didn't finish, but I know he went there. So he just said, yes, we're judged differently, rather good or bad. No matter what we do, we will always be judged differently.
And that is why the current candidate for president of the United States have been often judged differently than all of the other candidates that have been in place to actually run for this position. She's often, been spread a lot of misinformation and disinformation simply because of the color of her skin. And this is something that happens to our people very, very, very often. But I'm sorry, wrong show. I'm gonna step off my soapbox.
You were just with that. Did you go? I'm mad at you. Shout out to Chauncey.
Vote, y'all.
Yes, shout out to Chauncey watching us on Instagram. Monique over at Instagram said, I agree because people seek validation. Susie Sue 007. She says, good evening, brothers. My Black brother, what time? Girl, we typically start around 8 o'clock. Our goal start by 8 o'clock, but then today we got tied up. I was running late. So 8-ish. So 8-ish. Just do like Vernon do. He just kind of hovers, and then he'll text me and be like, where you at? We about to give you 5 minutes. So let's see, 8-ish every Sunday. All right, so you wanted to go in on that. Did you want because
well, I would say just to piggyback off of fear, going up the ranks in government sector, the level of accountability like you give yourself, you'll be. So I would say this: my peers that went to Ivy League schools or big PWIs, I wouldn't get the same. I guess if we were to do the same things, and they were probably not the best things, we will more than likely we wouldn't be viewed the same, and maybe a disciplinary action if needed. Mine would be more severe, and I'm not talking just hypothetically. I'm just speaking from things that happened in my progression throughout my career. So earlier, I feared, and not feared as being scared and not holding myself accountable. It's the fear of doing something, maybe not to the top standard or doing something right, and that penalize you in a sense of the matter. And just seeing that, I can see how fear holds us back as African American men in the workforce, of just holding yourself accountable and being more vocal because you don't want to be looked and seen as that problem, and you're not supposed to be here, or how did you get here, or your work is just overly scrutinized versus your peers, and that is happening. It's happening today in our agencies. So that's kind of what I wanted to add to the conversation. Excuse me.
I want to go back to that idea of feeling as if you already are not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
To have this feeling 24/7 as a Black man, that in these rooms that we get in, that you already not supposed to be here. So keep your head down and don't make too much noise. And that is why I specifically went to my old elementary school and I made the most noise. I was the loudest. And it was simply because of the fact is we have to remember our worth. We have to remember what the type of value that we add to the equation. And with taking accountability is understanding we got to give ourselves a little bit more grace. As a teacher, I didn't realize the statistic of a child is 25% more likely to go to college if they have a black teacher in the K through 12 system.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, that is the power of a black educator. We must understand the power that we have within each other, but yet we just constantly keep thinking to ourselves, we're not enough. We're not good enough. We're not, I said it in one of the episodes for the Road to Election. We feel like we have to work twice as hard just to be looked at as half of a human.
Yep.
And with that type of burden on us, it's hard to even want to take, especially public accountability for a lot of things, because we already know that we're going to get grilled harder than our white counterpart. Again, the way that they see us is completely different. Did y'all hear about that baby test? It was an old school baby test where it was a baby doll test. And they had a white baby doll and a black baby doll. And they put about 20 babies, like actual living babies, in a room. It was not like babies, they're like 3 or 4. And they was so point out the bad child. And they pointed out, every single person pointed out the black child. We've already been seen, and it's already in the DNA that we feel as if we're not enough. We're not good enough. And that's why it goes back to my question of why I feel like black men can hold themselves accountable, but they have been holding themselves accountable for so much and blaming themselves for so much that was happening to them. And it's all a mental thing. It's really all a mental thing.
It is.
I like what Kevin said earlier bit while you were talking. Kevin put up a comment and he said we have to walk a thinner line. Just thinking about that's because the world has been taught that black is bad. But I live in a place now that I walk into a space and I will let you know real quick, I belong here. I don't even take no for an answer. What you doing here? Because I belong here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a space that doesn't have representation who looks like me, who represents my voice. So since it doesn't, I'm going to make sure I add value to this space. Right. So, and societal expectations of masculinity often discourage vulnerability, making it challenging for men to admit their faults. That came from an article from the Atlanta Voice not too long ago. Then speaking of using your voice, now listen, I'm not doing a promo this time, Kevin.
Okay. You almost time for one, I know.
I know, right? But I didn't do it. No, but I'm using the storyline because just recently there was an article in a magazine where I was able to use my voice and be able to be very transparent and to talk about my mistakes in life and how I was able to. In the article, Terrell, it's called how to live again. And Kevin, you may have saw I did put it in our group chat the other day, and I talked about how even through just we all have our life journeys, right? We all have our ups and downs. We all ebb and flow at any given moment, but through this moment, this challenge of my life, I actually thought I was going through something, and I ended up got rushed to the hospital because I had passed out in church. I was suffering from migraines, and I got to the hospital. they wanted to do surgery on me. They thought they saw a tumor that was cancerous that was spreading all over my brain. They said, "Oh no, we're cutting right now." But they couldn't get the swelling down. They couldn't get the migraines and started. Okay, we're gonna let it sit for a moment. Now, what wasn't talked about in the article, and again, one of my former students became a coworker, he said, "Now that you think you know you have cancer, why do you think you have to live differently now? Because when you didn't know, you kept living. So now that you think you do know, does that mean you stop living?" That woke me up, first of all. But then 3 days later, come on, somebody say 3 days later.
3 days
3 days
Come
later.
on,
later.
third day, we got a second opinion. The doctors came back and said, "Well, Mr. Brown, what we thought we saw, we don't see anymore." Now, there's still something on the back of my brainstem. I was like, "Is it
When they
cancer?"
do it.
I said, "Is it cancer?" They said, "No." Will it spread? No. Will it hurt me? No. Then leave it alone. Just like, come on, like somebody got the nails in his hand and got that hole right there. It's just a constant reminder. That's always my constant reminder of what could have been. And that gave me an opportunity. That was just the start of my journey to live again. Even though I made a lot more mistakes and I had to learn how to be accountable for the mistakes I made. And I had to sometimes start all over from scratch, from the bottom. Had to lose a job, had to lose my life, lose my mind, lose my family, lose my wife, lose everything, just so I can learn how to recover, rebound, and come back up. Somebody with the song that said we started from the bottom.
Now we here.
Come on, somebody.
Now we're here.
But I had to go through that experience. And someone said, they were like, "I never knew this story." And I was like, they're like, in the midst of all that, they're like, "Oh, and you were alcoholic?" "Yeah, hi, my name was Anthony Brown. I'm an alcoholic." Like Kevin's
Hi,
like,
Anthony.
"Yeah, yeah." And so, but now I can live in that space because I'm not gonna let you hurt me with something that I already have accepted. So you can't hurt me with it. Okay. But once you can learn to live with, and you can accept what you've been through and learn from it, as I said earlier, if you can just learn from your mistakes and learn how to be accountable and be able to receive that life lesson and be able then to use that life lesson to be able to empower and inspire somebody else. So I shared that article with a few people, a few friends, and I actually got a text message from you talking about students. Kevin, you just talked about students and how, as Black men, as educators, how we have to empower, impact, and support our scholars. So I had another former student. He said, "Mr. Brown, I am so grateful and I love you so much." I sent him the article. He read the whole story. He said, "You are undeniable and an incredible part of my evolution." Had no idea he was even going to say this. He said, "Had it not been for your purpose driven work and your annoying pressure points, I might have failed defeat to my own circumstance." So he had to learn through my mistakes to be able to help him get through his. Even when he decided he wasn't even gonna go to college, like he wasn't going to college. He was, "I ain't going to college. I'm just gonna finish high school and I ain't gonna do absolutely nothing." "No, Negro, you're doing this FAFSA. We gonna make sure this is done. I want to make sure you just have an option."
Yeah.
He said, "I'll never forget you dropping everything. I stopped what I was doing. Nope, I'm taking you home right now." Drove him home. Sat with him and his mother and father. We went to that computer and I sat there and made him do it. Now, years later, this man's working for one of these Fortune 500 banking organizations in Charlotte. Got a degree. I think he might have been back and get his master's degree, all because I just had to just let him know, like, "Hey, I ain't perfect. I made mistakes, but hopefully, you'll have an opportunity to find that you can bounce back and you can live again." Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, but anyway, I just wanted to just had to throw a little quick testimony out there. But I do have a comment, a question. I want to go back to Instagram real quick because Monique made a comment. I'm just gonna mess with her real quick because she says, "So that also contributes to how Black men shut women out of certain places." And Monique is being petty because she always calls this the He-Man Women Hating Club. Because you're like, well, y'all never let the women on. Maybe we should get, maybe we can have a special show for the women.
I'm about to say maybe we should have a special show.
But we don't stop the women from being in the comments. And I've always now mind you, Monique is also my co-host on my other show called the HBCU Alumni House Party Show. I'm like, girl, you got space, but I think this is the place for the brothers. And like, I had a man cave event here locally in Cleveland. Yeah, you ain't invite any women. Well, no, I didn't. But though I did get a nice, good manicure. We did have somebody come do our manicure, though, and then somebody else doing some back massages. So self-care, fellas, self-care. Take care of yourself as you trying to take care of everybody else. I do have another question, though. I got another question. I just went on a tangent. I'm sorry. Wait. All right, I digress. So, Terrell, let's go back to you. Are there any mental shifts or reminders that help you see the mistakes that you have made as you continue to grow?
Yeah, I think those little reminders, those glimpses of your past always kind of hold you true to where you're going and where you are at that moment. Like I mentioned earlier, just now, life is the best teacher. Now that I'm a father of two girls, like my whole thought process has has changed. The accountability level is going out the roof. My standards have all risen, and I think that's just the natural order of how things supposed to progress in your natural matriculation. So yeah, you're going to always have those past moments that hold you true to your core, to the things you want in life and how you're going to go about getting those. So
wow,
definitely.
Kevin, now for you, Kevin, I got another question. What advice would you give someone struggling to take accountability for a recent mistake? What advice would you give someone struggling to take accountability for a recent mistake?
You only fail if you give up.
Come on, give me some more. You can't leave me out there. That was a good one.
Mistakes only happen to teach you like what was wrong, what you could have done better. But it's only when you decide to give up is when you fail. A mistake is not, it's not the end all be all. A mistake is only a lesson. A mistake is only a lesson to prepare you.
So it's only a failure when you give up.
It's only a failure when you give up.
The mistake is just a roadblock. That's just a bump in the road. That's a speed bump.
Because honestly, we can dwell, but you're gonna spend so much time focusing on what's behind you that you're not gonna look up and figure out what's in front of you.
Come on, that's why the window in front of you is so big and the mirror is so small. You don't need to focus on everything behind you. Stop focusing on everything behind you. You got this big old window right in front of you. All right, my last question, guys, before we transition. Yes, Kevin, be true to yourself. Yes, be true to yourself. Last question. This is for anybody, for both of you all, and any of our people who are watching us. Yes, Susie, I want to hear from you too, Susie. Put something in the chat. Besides, Susie was talking about preach early. You better go on somewhere. Susie, leave me alone. All right. There she goes. Susie just made a comment. First, recognize that we've done something wrong. Admit it as soon as possible. Accept the consequences and set solution is what you would say. Come on, Susie. All right. Last question. Is there a personal mantra or guiding principle, or do you have a philosophy or mission to help you stay accountable? What is your personal mantra, or do you have a mission statement or a vision statement to help you stay accountable?
Live every day like it's really your last. That's it. If you live it like it's your last, you're gonna do stuff a little bit different.
Okay.
You're accountable. You're gonna keep yourself accountable. You're gonna make sure if this was your last day, how you want to be seen getting carried out and put in that box and put 6 feet deep. That kind of that thought process, it'll make you stay accountable. So
Okay. Kevin, what you got?
If I had to, like, my mantra, I don't think that it's really more talking about accountability, but it's really understanding that you just gotta get up. You gotta get up. You gotta keep moving. It's not gonna always the road to the finish line ain't gonna always be clear. But you gotta keep moving.
Get up.
You gotta
at least get up.
You gotta get up.
You gotta get up now. Hey.
You gotta get up. The simple as that.
In the chat, anybody else who's watching this right now, what is your personal mantra? Or what is your mission? What is your vision that keeps you accountable? I think for me, I'm going to just say I have a mission statement that I try to live by. And I typically say that my mission is to instill a desire of growth by living an exemplary life as an effective father, friend, educator, leader, artist, and supporter to those who shall cross my path in life. So if I'm not doing that, I'm not being accountable. So I guess the simple songwriter said, if I can help somebody as I travel along, come on, somebody. Woo! Someone just put in the chat, hi, I'm an author. Please check out my children's book by Naomi Prince's mom and brother by Angel Kennedy. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know if that has
please reach out to the page for prices on marketing and how much it is to market on the page. We truly appreciate it.
Y'all slipped that one in on me. I thought you were talking about it.
Yes.
All right,
but I do have a quote. I do have the quote. I forgot it, but then I remember it.
You got it?
It's only impossible because you haven't done it yet. It's only impossible because you haven't done it yet. That's all I'm gonna say, and we can unpack that next episode.
I'm actually going to Kevin's comment in the chat. Kevin said, "Never forget your worst day, so that your next day is your best day." Come on, never forget your worst day, so that your next day is your best day. Because it's got to get better. Oh, I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to get better. Woo! Anyway, listen here. Someone said, I like that. Susan says, I like that. I'm going to use your mission statement. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all. We ain't done yet. You know, it's that time for us now to talk about what's going on in your neighborhood, what's happening in your neck of the woods, what's going on in your world. So before we wrap it up, we're going to go back to talk to Kevin and Terrell to figure out, we already know what Shane doing. He down there in Jamaica. Shane claims that he had Wi-Fi technical difficulties. Shane in Jamaica.
Oh, man.
That might be true now.
I'm about to say now. I mean,
that might be true. He might be, between the Mai Tais and the tide waves. He might be a little
occupied.
That part. All right. So again, Terrell, what's going on? You want to shout out anything that's happening in your world? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to share with the people?
Oh man, this is our rival week with our rival school, Fort Valley State University. It's a love-hate relationship, but all to the day I die. Albany State all day.
Oh, is it homecoming week?
Well, it's our rival week. We had homecoming a few weeks ago, but this is our largest, like the Fountain City Classic. We're hosting an event Thursday. If you guys are in town in Atlanta, at Cliche Wine Bar. So it's going to be between Albany State, Fort Valley alums. We're just going to bring everybody together, have a good time, and just fellowship with each other, tell old war stories, and again, root for the Golden Rams.
Oh, he said, but we're going to root for the Golden Rams. But I'm wondering, can any HBCU alum come? Anybody?
Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. Kevin, what's going on well, we know what's going on in your world. We got, we know we wrapping up election in a couple of days. What we looking like, bro?
I was about to say, I'm just trying to make it till tomorrow. And then the next day. I'm taking it step by step at this point. I honestly don't know where my life is going to be on Wednesday. So right now, I could just say I'm coasting. I don't know. Because the thing about it is, and I mean, this is real transparent and open. I mean, anybody who's in the city knows it. I work as a teacher in the same district that I'm running for school board. So by Wednesday, I know if I have to step down as a teacher in order to take my position, which is going to change the entire trajectory of the school year and what I anticipated. So then I have to move schools, and then I'm going to be a teacher at a new school, teaching a whole different district, teaching a whole different grade. So it's a whole lot that is about to change with just the simple decision of if my voters voted for me. So I'm coasting into seeing, and then I also can figure out if my president, who I want to be a lovely, black lady, is it going to be her, or is it going to be someone who is going to destroy our democracy?
I ain't trying to go back.
It's a lot.
Now, I don't know what they're saying on Mega Top 5, but I know in Alpha, we all talk about the fact that, and this ain't no shade, I'm just saying in Alpha, we talk about, we don't believe in backward steps.
Right. Absolutely.
We are not going back.
So, we ain't going backwards. Come on, America.
That's it.
America. Hey.
America, do what you got to do, but we can't go
right. Hey. I'm sorry. I just. All right. Anybody else? Listen, Vernon just made a comment in the chat. No, Negro, I would have never thought in a million years. Because listen, I remember you in college. Ooh, won't he do it? Won't he will? Won't he do it? And won't he will? If I could tell the story. All right, listen. So I want to say to everyone again, thank you. If you haven't voted yet, if you didn't do the early vote, listen, I need you to get there without haste on Tuesday morning and go exercise your right to vote.
VOTE, vote, please vote.
I'm not even going to talk about the fact that we could be going to, we could be planning a trip to Dubai in May. I'm not even going to talk about that. And you can do this whole HBCU alumni takeover and HBCU takeover.net. Not going to even talk about it. It's my birthday and it's Mother's Day. Not even going to mention that. Not even going to talk about the fact that you apply with one application to 66 HBCUs. Now, Morehouse College is on the application for the Common Black College application. But I'm not going to talk about that today. No, not going to do it. But for information, go to commonblackcollege.app. Or I'm not even going to even mention the fact if you got a football game, a classic, or a homecoming you want to go to and you're looking for a hotel with hbchotels.com and a portion of the proceeds go back to a deserving scholar. Not going to talk about any of that. What I'm talking about is that if you haven't already exercised your right to vote, I need you to go and vote.
Please go vote.
Won't you please, America?
Go vote. And don't try to go be different. This ain't the election to be different.
Don't wait till the last minute because they out here trying to okey dokes. And I'm not here for the one or the two. We just want to go in there and do what we got to do. All right.
Go vote.
And let's see how we can move this. Let's move this America to something different. We don't need to go back to what it was. Let's do something different. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's go for change. Listen, I'm gonna just listen. Shout out to the women, and most of y'all had to raise your children, and y'all, the old commercials say bring home the bacon and fry it too. Listen, brothers, we were there, but y'all understand. But mama took care of things. Grandmama took care of things. So, it might be a woman that could take care of some things. I ain't even gonna hold you.
And we don't want nobody telling us what our mamas can do with their body.
Oh my gosh. Or something about, and then you could just grab them wherever you want to grab them, and you think
Right.
that's okay. But you want free Diddy. I'm just saying.
Well, keep him in there. Whoa.
All right. Someone said, Susie Sue said, and if they don't vote, they have not a dang thing to complain about when things in this country go south. Woo! I know that's right. Oh, shoot, and drop my phone. All right, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun, but we got to run. Listen, Kevin and I want to thank Terrell Hires for being with us today, enjoying and sharing some of your wisdom and your stories about accountability, which is very much needed. Thank you for all of our folks in the comments who shared some insight for today. Again, growing from mistakes, embracing accountability isn't easy, but it is essential for personal growth, leadership, and building trust in our relationships. For those who want to learn more or need more support, check out some valuable resources. Got some great magazines you can go check out, some websites you can go check out for more of how you can just empower yourself to do better. One is called the Men's Center at www.menscenter.org. It's a hub for promoting healthy masculinity, accountability, and personal growth for men. The next one is called the Abernathy Magazine, a publication focused on Black men's experiences, leadership, and cultural issues. And finally, the last magazine is called Code M Magazine at codemmagazine.com. It's a resource dedicated for celebrating and empowering Black men through stories about lifestyle, health, and success. And again, Code M Magazine, shout out to them, to my good fraternity brothers, Bilal and Brad, who took it enough to highlight me on page 18 in the November 2024 edition. So yeah, with that said, hey, and a big thank you as always to Historically Black Sense for making this platform possible. You can learn more about them. Just hit the link in the bio or description, because also there you will find a link to the HBCU Man Cave newsletter. Yes. So if you want to reach back out to Mr. Terrell Hires, no, he's not hiring you for a job. Do you get to the lot though, sir? Hey, Terrell, can I get a job?
Hey, you gotta apply. I can do my best.
There you go. So if you want to connect with Terrell or Shane or Kevin, myself, or any of our other guests, or some of the research we've been talking about, please make sure you hit the link in the description or the bio so you can be part of the HBCU Man Cave newsletter for news and resources. You can check in, you can chat, and you can check in on the chat, and you can be part of that conversation. All right. As always, I'm your boy, your uncle, your cousin, and your best friend, and you've been watching the HBCU Man Cave, where men can relate, relax, and release. Stay safe, stay blessed. Go vote. And
go vote.
And we will see you next time.
And go vote.
Appreciate you.